Swear we'll never find a way to where we're going. sure that one's there. Probably.
It's gonna be great. One more round of applause for the class of 2021, which we'll be doing a lot of today. Okay, have a seat, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. With a little bit of rain outside, sort of fitting given this year that we've all had. So welcome, parents, guardians, faculty, and friends. Welcome, class of 2021. Woo! Today we recognize and celebrate your successful completion of high school. Let me begin with a few thank yous. First to Lance, Ben, June, and Jim, our maintenance team. They made the campus beautiful and created this space so that we could have this ceremony. Let's give them an enthusiastic round of applause. Thank you to Chrissy and Krishna, both who have organized a completely new type of graduation ceremony in a new location, happening during a pandemic. Oh, and this is their first time leading an Overlake graduation. Although Chrissy did participate as a member of the class of 2002. So congratulations. Thank you to Krishna and Chrissy. I would say hashtag awesome job. And finally, thank you to the many parents and student volunteers helping today and over these last few months. Without your help, we could never have pulled this day off. Driving carts, volunteering to help with setup, attending numerous meetings to work through how this graduation would happen. Thank you. Before sharing a few thoughts, I'd like to recognize the lifers. These students have been at Overlake since the 5th grade. Here they are, 8 years later, taller, older, wiser. Lifers, please stand. Okay, you can sit. Excellent. Some years back, the Wall Street Journal asked several college presidents to write the essays their schools asked prospective students to write. As you might imagine, their essays were thoughtful, well-written, and inspiring, including the one by Bob Zimmer, then president of the University of Chicago, who, like all applicants, tackled one of the U of C's seemingly inscrutable topics. At present, you need to live the question. Taken from Rainier Maria Rilke in Letters to a Young Poet. This year, I'm doing something in that same spirit. Recently, my 9th grade son completed his English class with a final assignment in which each student gave a 2-minute speech focused on something they had learned about themselves or about life during quarantine. Certainly a much more straightforward prompt than the University of Chicago's, but asking a group of 9th graders about quarantining would have no context 18 months ago. Now it seems as common as, what did you do with your summer vacation? Perhaps equally important, and particularly today, a milestone moment for the intrepid class of 2021, is how the unusual learning of the last year and a half matters as these 71 students move forward. The last 463 days led all of us to learn things most of us never imagined we would need to know. Through such experience, we learned, as Outward Bound founder Kurt Hahn said, there is more in you than you know. Let me say that again. There is more in you than you know. The pandemic enabled you to start discovering this truth because there were so many experiences and expectations that had to change. For example, You are the first seniors to pursue a largely virtual college process. You are the first seniors that got to choose whether you wanted to take and submit standardized test scores to many schools that long had required them. You are the first seniors to have a prom in the new math and science building. You are also, along with students everywhere in the world, the first to spend the majority of your last year of high school learning online. You are part of a far larger group worldwide who shared these experiences, who felt worried and disappointed by changes to what you had long planned for in a situation that was completely out of your control. We all have come to personally realize that there are events that affect every single person in the world. If you've ever wondered about the meanings of phrases like globally networked society or words such as globalization, you now understand what Barry Commoner wrote about in his 1971 book, where he lays out the 4 laws of ecology. The first one stating, everything is connected to everything else. We have not been alone facing such an unusual and frightening pandemic. That said, we have all undoubtedly felt alone at times these last many months. Simultaneously, the interconnectedness of our local lives was well seen in how many decisions we made for ourselves that had implications for others. Whether we wore a well-fitted mask, how well we socially distanced, how carefully we were with washing our hands or staying home when we didn't feel well. Over and over and over, I saw Overlakers make decisions for the good of the community. And I saw them understand that we are all vulnerable, that we need to ensure that the choices we are making were connected to the wider Overlake and Seattle community. One night last summer, I was driving by the lower playing fields, and in the parking lot, I saw 3 cars, which had all backed into a small yet socially distanced circle. The drivers of the car had opened their hatches and were sitting on their tailgates, able to safely socialize and to create a kind of pandemic campfire, sans the fire or the marshmallows. The scene captures the care for each other you have all creatively demonstrated. Just as there is a social contract that governs how we drive, aiming to keep ourselves and everyone else on the road safe, so too did the pandemic ask us to agree to a new social contract, one that continues to make demands on our actions and decisions. Heading off to a residential college and living on your own, you will have more freedom than you have likely had before, and you will navigate a lot of independent decision-making. The pandemic has ratcheted up the need to embrace the social contract that ideally enable us to live safely, but such needs aren't new. In fact, you could equate our decisions and actions as part of how we serve as local citizens. There has never been a greater need than now for all of us to commit to being good citizens, to recognizing, like Commoner's first law of ecology, everything is connected to everything else. That your actions or inactions could significantly affect others' health and well-being. Fortunately, your generation is quickly gaining respect and admiration for your commitment to social justice and your concern about the environment. You are the generation that wants to know, when you consider careers and workplaces, whether you can make a difference through your work. You will press your schools, your communities, and your workplaces to tackle climate change, social justice, equity, a safe workplace, and transparency. Your collective commitment to these and many other causes have and will continue to shape a better world. That's a lot of responsibility. So let me provide 2 lenses for you navigating these complex challenges, especially as you strive to figure out more about yourself. First lens, be curious. Your life will be filled with wonder and joy, endlessly interesting ideas, and much human understanding if you approach everyone and everything with curiosity. Aim to shift criticism into curiosity. Rather than critiquing, aim for questioning and exploring. And practice the same for yourself. We are often our worst and cruelest critics. Be your own best friend and be curious about how you can evolve and continue growing. As Reichel asked us to do, how can you live the question? Bob Zimmer wrote in response to this prompt, living the question is not simple. It entails the intensity of argument and engagement. It demands intellectual risk-taking and a preference for analysis, inquiry, and complexity over easy solutions and comfort. It requires a habit of challenging one's own assumptions, even while analyzing and questioning others. Importantly, questioning also requires listening. Be curious, wonder at the world, listen. Second lens. Consider carefully what you can control, what you can influence, and what you can neither control nor influence. The 3 circles of influence come from Elena Aguilar, an educator and expertise in coaching. When faced with challenges, lean into the circles of influence and ask, what can I control? What can I influence? What can I neither control nor influence? Be ambitious with the difference you can make, as well as aware of where you do not have control or influence. There is so much we have learned in the last 15 months about what we can influence and control and what we can't. There is much for you to do. There is so much you can and will do. Always remember there are many people who love you, who support you, and want the best for you. Many of them are sitting under this tent right now. While I'm sure there have been moments for every Overlake family when nobody wanted to be on lockdown anymore, despite the board games and the puzzles and the knitting and the bread making and all the phenomenal family time, the pandemic has made clear that the relationships in our lives are what matter most. We are social beings and we need each other. Be sure to care for your relationships and yourself fully with your heart and your soul. Remember too, that Overlake is always a home for you. The relationships built here will endure. All that you have learned here, including what the last 463 days have taught you, will serve you well. We believe in you, mighty class of 2021. I believe in you. Thank you. Next up is Stephen Ringo.
Well, I have a feeling this isn't Kansas. Correct? Dear graduates, parents, guardians, friends, and Overlake staff, I have a never-ceasing love for signs. Signs with words, signs without words, pictorials, graphics, hand-scrawled signs, fancy on-screen signs, sometimes rife with spelling mistakes. I notice signs everywhere I go, and I wish I wouldn't. One of my favorite types of signs is the sign you often see, especially when you need it. Let's say you're at a park, or a trailhead, or a museum, wearing a mask, of course. And some schools have signs like these too. And then there's the mall. The sign I'm speaking of is a simplified map on a large board or screen. The map shows various locations spread out. What are you looking for? You're looking for a circle. Often it's a red circle, and it reads in all caps, "You are here. You are here." These words amuse me, printed on this kind of sign that you've all seen. There's something humorous about a sign telling you where you are. There's a bold assumption that you are lost or maybe confused. You need to know where you are in order to get where you want to go. And so it is with you, dear graduates. You know where you are. You are here. But the sign that tells you this has more to say. In this time of pandemic, hopefully nearing the end of the worst of what the pandemic will do to America, we stand together and we stand as individuals, reading a metaphorical sign that says, "You are here." So much has been said about the past year and a half, the past. So much has been said about where this will take us, the future. What will normal be in that future? How will this affect your future as you head off to college? What does the future of the nation and the world look like for the coming generations? The past and the never-ending rehash of it, and the future's monster tidal pull. Both have sucked away so much of the oxygen of this year and this last 15 months. It's very easy in life to get stuck in the past or to only live for the future. Anxiety, fear, despair, and prognosticating. You know this all too well. So many of you doing online school for 15 months or more. Today, I offer you a simple suggestion that you are here in this place, in this moment. There have been 12 school years for you, school years of homework and study, maybe some recess in there, and speculation for the last 2 years, to get here, and right now, to graduate. And now, here you are, the ontological verb to be, to exist, to be alive. So much energy goes into the future. What will be my major? What jobs or careers will be available? What person do I want to be in 5 years, or 10, or 25? Today, all of that can wait. The future always gets its due. Graduates, you all do so many amazing things. Every day, I am astounded by the skills and talents you already have. You know how to do so many very difficult things. Yet one of the most difficult things of all is to live in the present, to be where you are. Such irony, I think. Class of 2021, you are here. This is your time. This is your day. Be present for yourself and for others. The long-awaited day is here, and it is now. And lastly, remember that you are here also for all of us, in our hearts. Congratulations, and thank you.
I hope everyone's enjoying the weather today. To the class of 2021, congratulations. I know we had the gala and the senior brunch, but it's really nice to see everyone together again after such a hectic year. Before I start, can we get a round of applause for your teachers, parents, and everyone else who has helped you get to where you are now? Let's give them a hand. The fact is, we simply could not get here, our high school graduation, or get to where we want to be without our biggest fans. I know that some of you have been waiting for this day for the last 13 years. You're excited to move away from home and start something new, to find new communities where you'll thrive and become leaders. You'll find your home among scientists, engineers, politicians, entrepreneurs, writers, and artists with whom you'll continue to reinvent your field. Others of us might feel like this high school graduation is just a formality, a checkpoint between the worlds of high school and college. You might feel indifferent about graduating today, and that's okay. I'll admit, I felt this way for a long time. This graduation is our ticket towards the challenges, successes, and dreams which lie ahead, the first flag planted in a lifelong journey. Finally, some of us might be anxious about graduating today. It's not that you want to be a fifth-year senior, but you've come to love the communities you've built and the friends you've made here. Overlake has been our home as we've grown, developed our identities, and learned our core values. And now that we're ready to fly the nest, we realize just how much we're leaving behind. Your feelings about graduating today, whatever they may be, are valid. It was not easy getting here. We had to get through Algebra 2 first. Or a fan favorite, Brian's absolutely brutal physics tests. Jokes aside, our high school journey was turbulent, but this past year has only convinced me that Overlake's class of 2021 kicks butt. Let me explain. Our senior year was a little unorthodox. We've lived this last year cooped up in our houses, soaking in blue light, muting and unmuting in Zoom calls, and looking in the mirror in fear as we prepare to cut our own hair. We've lived this past year through the largest wildfire season in recorded history, global and national conflict, a presidential impeachment and contested election, and more. That's a lot. But seeing how this group has reacted to the world changing rapidly around us gives me faith that the class of 2021 is not only resilient, but invincible. We rise to the challenges before us and become the agents of change our communities need. Us 2021ers, so I'm gonna call you guys, have started nonprofits to help struggling communities, organize national fundraisers, and petition for a more diverse faculty and curriculum. Not bad for some teenagers. But beyond being talented and caring, you guys are also hilarious. I remember in my math class, whenever we took a test, I'd hear a distinct oof from Alan Yao every time he flipped the page. I'm sure many of us related to Alan this year. One time, I felt bad about falling asleep in Bob Bristol's history class until I woke up to find that 5 other kids were also asleep. The class only had 12 people. One of my favorite memories, though, is sitting at a Red Robin one night and looking out the window to see Teddy being wheeled around inside a shopping cart by Sam. We're not going to talk about how that ended. Moving on. Class of 2021, our future is bright. You're so driven and you're strong in staying true to yourself. The world needs people who will stare adversity in the face and keep pushing forward because they care about what lies ahead. Every interaction I've had with you all, whether it was playing Minecraft together in Miss Noble's classroom or chatting with you moments ago, convinces me that you are all forces to reckon with. I, and many others here, cannot wait to see what you do next. Congratulations. We have the senior presentation by Arnav next, or the video.
I think I'm most proud of getting through the 4 years and getting into a good college. I've put myself through hard years. Like in 10th grade, I was taking 8 classes and 2 APs. I don't think that was a wise decision, but it was hard and I got through it and I'm proud of that.
What I'm most proud of is just the growth that I've been able to undergo because of just everything at Overlake, from the people here, the curriculum, to like all the extracurricular activities. I was able to more explore who I am as a person and really go in depth in areas that I really wanted to, and really just flourish as a person more than like I would have anywhere else. And so these opportunities that I had, just couldn't have asked for anything more.
One great memory I have is improv in 10th grade, where it was a group of a bunch of seniors. I was a sophomore. And we were just kind of this hodgepodge group of guys and girls who had never really done acting, but were just excited to kind of get into this new thing. And so what we did was we rehearsed different improv exercises, and then it all kind of culminated in this like Parliament experience where we talked about different Overlake dynamics in front of the whole upper school, and just really got to like use improv as its vessel to translate ideas about the Overlake community, like what needs to change, what is good, and yeah, it was just a fun experience.
When the cross-country team made it to state for the first time in school history, and that was just like a really great moment because I was so proud of working with these girls for like the whole season and just making it somewhere where like we never thought we'd ever end up.
I would tell my freshman self to stick up for myself and to stand up for what I believe in.
Do what you love and do it as well as you can, because it's not so much about what specifically you do or whether it aligns to your major or how academic it is. It's more about just enjoying yourself and practicing being able to follow your passions, but also to continue to grow within your passions.
Definitely just take every opportunity you can to explore an area that you really want to. It's like, even though Overlake's pretty small, there's still a wide variety of courses, a wide variety of activities to do. It's just definitely go out and explore your interests and just make sure that you're just putting your everything into it.
Everything, including like bad days, bad tests, struggles in general, that they're all part of where you end up in, I guess, senior year, and that there are a lot more good days than bad days, and it'll all turn out really well, especially since you're surrounded by people who love and care about you and will support you.
To enjoy yourself a little bit more, maybe take a few more classes that you like. Time's limited. These 4 years, even without COVID, high school only lasts 4 years, and so you should make the most of it.
Overlake was a place that really let me explore. I got to put on plays where I got to do art and I got to run diversity initiatives all as a student. And I think that really gave me a chance to try a bunch of things and really figure out what I liked and what I was good at. And Overlake does a really good job of letting their students be independent in that process of exploration.
I'm thankful for Overlake for nurturing my writing skills and for the English department for being so supportive in my entire time here.
Overall, I'd say that what I'm most thankful for is the education that I've been given, because not only is it very high quality, but it's also centered on personal connections that you form with your teacher. And the teachers being invested in your success is the most crucial component of an Overlake education. Overall, this education that I've been given is going to serve me well in college and beyond.
I'm really thankful for having an environment where I could learn all the lessons I have so far throughout high school. I think that it was a really encouraging place to be, to make mistakes and learn on your own and have independence and support. One of my favorite lessons I've learned is to ask questions even. I feel a lot more comfortable in myself when I don't know the answer now than I used to.
Well, one of my favorite memories from Overlake was really all of my time in Latin. Like, I took Latin for, I think, 6 years at Overlake, and it was always like just a fantastic experience. All the teachers were super passionate about the material, and I always had a lot of fun with my classmates, joking around, just generally having a good time. So, shout out Greg Kakas, T. Lehman.
I'd say every single retreat we've been on has been really positive for me. I guess just being able to see everyone at the start of the year after we've been gone for 3 months and just seeing like familiar faces, even people we don't talk to, it's still nice to see them around campus, because like a community is part of people that even if you don't really talk to them a lot, like you build each other up in an indirect way.
Probably on 8th grade field studies, I remember waking up my tent mates, which were Elizabeth and Zoe, at 6 a.m. instead of, I think, 8 a.m. and convince them to go on a run with me.
and they definitely didn't like me later that morning, but we were able to laugh about it a lot, even like in the following years. So that was just kind of a fun experience.
Yeah, so when I came to Overlake in 5th grade, I was kind of in awe of all these big buildings, a lot of older kids. This is my first time at a bigger school, and I'd realized, wow, there's so much that goes into this, so much that I don't know. And I was very scared of, oh, how am I ever gonna complete 8th grade or junior year? I've heard so much about college after. I've come to realize that as time goes on, you realize Overlake, the people you're with, they prepare you for it. You realize that Overlake is just a conglomerate of amazingly passionate individuals, and they come together to create something. And of course, there are bumps along the way. Nothing's perfect, but you realize that Overlake is a product of the individuals within it.
It's hard to pick one memory that really stands out because there's so many of them. The connections that I formed with my fellow Overlakers, both in the classroom and outside the classroom, have provided me with so many great memories that I'll keep for the rest of my life.
I always remember when I first came to Overlake, I was new as a freshman, and I was really equipped to experience like the full new student stereotype and have to figure things out on my own. I really expected the community to be already very tight-knit and I would have to squeeze my way through, but everyone was so helpful and I was like astonished by how much they wanted to be my friend and include me in things and teach me how to exist there, and so I'm really grateful for that.
Good afternoon. My name is Mehek Gasalia, and I've had the pleasure of being a student here for the past 8 years. Along with my very talented fellow speaker, Karthik, you all voted me to give this speech. And I want to thank you for that because, as you may have realized, I love talking, especially about myself. So it's an honor to get to do that one last time. So thank you for letting me. So, my captive audience, what am I going to talk about? Well, I wanted something that was a little bit nostalgic, talking about themes running through our whole Overlake experience and memories that we all shared as a grade. But the thing is, most of us aren't very nostalgic people. We've never had a super defined class culture, and we all have such varied interests and schedules that it was hard to pick a memory that all of us could relate to. The closest I got was talking about Dark Day, but I had the flu. So I decided to talk about something close to my own heart. I want to take you on a trip down memory lane through a few of the past speeches I've given you. Yes, the rest of my speech will be fully plagiarized from myself. SRB, come at me. This first quote was taken from my candidate speech for middle school ASB president. With all of the great, unique minds in this room, who knows what we could accomplish? More Pakistani lunch days, art-themed green and gold events, maybe even Gola championship tournaments. This is the year our imaginations can become reality. Wow, bold statement. Spoiler alert, I didn't win. Definitely still not salty about that. But one thing did come true from that speech. I don't think any of us could anticipate the things that we've accomplished in the past 4 years. Between us, we have collegiate recruited athletes, award-winning Shakespeare performers, nonprofit founders, and video game developers. We got into college and got out of in-person PE. We even redefined what green and gold events mean, although maybe not in the way we were thinking back then. Our imaginations may not have become reality, but we learned to shape our realities with our imagination. Okay, this next quote is from 8th grade promotion. It was written for 2 people, so I'm going to have to get a little bit creative. Stick with me. Though our class will no doubt become something wonderful, it will never be the same as it is right now. So let's take tonight to celebrate us, to celebrate this moment, because this is something special. And then we both said thank you at the same time, and it was really epic. Now, in the same way that our class completely changed from 8th to 9th grade, today we face another huge change. For most of us, we're transitioning to college, maybe to a campus we've never stepped foot on. I wonder what Boston's like in the winter. But regardless of how eager we are or aren't to move on from high school, this time at Overlake has indeed been something special. Maybe we didn't dance till we dropped at prom, but we still got to drop eggs off a stepladder at 11th grade physics. And we all have moments we wish we could go back to. This year, especially during AP physics tests, I bet more than one of us wished we could go back and throw those eggs directly at Brian. But in all seriousness, we share so many memories of Overlake. Some good, some bad, some difficult. I said in the beginning that I don't think our class is very nostalgic. And so I know we all see Overlake for the honest truth of what it was for us. But I want to ask you to do something for me, one last thing. When you remember Overlake, I want you to remember what Overlake gave or didn't give you, the reality of whatever your experience was here. For some, that reality was harder than others. But I also want you to remember what we gave each other. I came into this school as a girl with her nose in a book, who sat alone at lunch because she didn't know how to talk to people. But having the opportunity to give speeches at Overlake changed that for me. After talking to you on stage, talking to you in person didn't seem that scary. And when I started to reach out to you all, this amazing, challenging, argumentative group of people, no matter if we were debating over the lunch table or just talking about how long story short is a bop, I always felt heard. So when you think of Overlake, I hope you remember that we've given each other ourselves, made each other who we are today. And I hope you remember that you are the reason I'm able to stand here giving this speech. Congratulations to us, the class of 2021, and thank you for listening. And up next, we have the Overlake String Orchestra playing Imagine by John Lennon.
Can we get all of the senior advisors on stage and everyone who presented a gift at senior brunch up here? So can we take some time to recognize the senior advisors and all the hard work, encouragement, and support that they've given us for the past 4 years? So Tina Proctor, where are you?
Dana Len.
Justin Prone.
Murray Mashfair.
Ernesto Sanchez.
Dave Parsons.
Stephen Ringo.
And these last set of flowers are for Gerald Bleicher, who could not be here today, but Gerald.
They got Matt's name right here.
So all of it. All right, we've got a few housekeeping notes before we award the diplomas for you. We're going to have an organized dismissal after the awarding of diplomas. Seniors will be dismissed first. Everyone else should remain in their seats, though we encourage you to stand and shower them with applause. Seniors dismissals to 5:45. Goodbyes with parents and guardians until 5:45. An opportunity to take professional photos, get beverages, take away treats. There will be 2 large buses stationed in the turnaround lot. Party time. To shuttle you up to Fulton, where you can change and board the waiting coach buses for grad night. Buses will leave every 5 minutes until 5:35. If you miss the last bus, you need to walk up to the top of campus. That would be a bummer, although you've all done it many, many times. The grad night charter buses plan to leave campus at 5:45 from the Fulton Loop. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. I think this was bent down there for the last speaker. There we go. So this is a little bit unusual, the way that we're going to be doing this today inside of the tent. Just so you know, when we did rehearsal on Friday, we had 4 rows. We now only have 3. So, a little bit of a change. We threw at them in the last minute. So Gabe, you're the one who gets to stand up with your row, the back row first, and make your way down as a row to the table here next to Matt. So as they're making their way down here, just a couple of thoughts that I had for you. When Overlake started about 55 years ago, we had graduation. I wasn't there, but we had graduation in a tent. So this is a throwback to what we did 55 years ago, doing it in a tent again. One other note for you, we are outside. And a few years ago, at graduation, we had a bear on campus, which was a little disturbing, a black bear. So what Kent Reno, our director of the outdoor education program, would always tell me is that if you see a bear, get really big and loud. So that's your job as an audience right now, to keep bears away from here. You can get really big and loud during this part of the ceremony. There we go. Now we're talking. And then the last point for you before I start calling the names is that there are a few of our graduating seniors that were unable to be here today or this afternoon, and I will be calling their names as well, just so you know that not each of our grads is here. All right. And I can't actually see the grads. Oh, there we go. I see. Gabriel DaCosta Alonso. Tejesh Anand. Monica Elena Aproetesi. Alexis Mateo Austin. Adrian Gabriel Avram. Stefan James Beskin. Jada Marie Boggs. Catherine Irene Bush. Rohan Gururja Chatterjee. Elizabeth Yu Wen Chen. Felix Chen. Johan Cho. Nell Corley. Kaku Emmanuel Cosmos. William Chambers Dessler. Elisa Carla Diaconou. Nikita Sergey Dryzin. Jameson Nicole Foster. Sydney Grace Goad. Mahek Gosalia. Belen Gutierrez Peña. Ivy Jade Haight. Sarah Jiwoo Hong. Tyler E. Shaw. Catherine Huang. I think it's raining outside. Come on, Catherine. Is that you, Mark? Are you down there at the second row? You ready? All right. Second row, let's do it. Mark Victor Huang. Matthew Huang. Conrad Larson Im. Anant Venkat Iyer. Adit Sumant Hatikadur. Alex M. Klink. Jenna Marie Lacey. Shaina Bhavnish Lathia. Edward Barrett Louch. Neha Magesh. Brandon Marcus. Yash Mehta. Annika Leko Mihata. Alan Andrew Gwinnett. Isaac Oliver Odell. Jacob H. Olson. Sarah Linnea Orvendal. Ryan William Owens. Allison Morgan Pay. Sophia Peniche. Roman Marius Peterson. Noelani Phillips. Blake Nicholas Porter. Alexandra Julia Pashsuha. Alex is getting a photo op back there. Ruta, would you like to guide your row down? Ruta V. Rajpathak. John William Rolfe. Adele Victoire Ropars. Lindsay Elizabeth Rubin. Malika Rajshahi. Anya Sharma. Arnav Sharma. Tej Fateh Singh. Samuel Ryan Smith. Aiden Pleich Smith. Kai Anderson Imai Snyder. Aya Fumi Sugai Munson. Aisha Tongirala. Yida Yao. Alan. Rima Nasim Tufaha. Zoe Hope Turner. Karthik Valor Vetravel. Rajula Vikram. Teague Tomlinson White. Alyssa Claire Williams. Sangbom Yang. Max Zhao.
We're just waiting for Max to... Don't run, Max. All righty. Woo! Let's give him another round of applause. Okay, before we get to the last part of the event, just a couple of notes to make. First of all, I'm so excited that we could all be here today. This is obviously far better than sitting in front of a computer and watching it virtually, which we obviously had to do last year. It's great that we could all be here today under this tent on campus and send the class of 2021 off. So thank you, everybody, for all of you coming today. As I mentioned at the 8th grade promotion earlier this week, this is probably the first time that most of us have had a chance to hear live music in about 15 or 16 months. So thank you to the orchestra, Mark, and to Aaron and the choirs. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to some of the most important people in this room besides all of you as family members, and that's our faculty and staff that are sitting over to the side. Thank you to all of you. Okay, so graduates, you have that tassel. So make sure it's on the right-hand side, because as I say this, then you're going to move it from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. And let's all have you stand up. So you should all be standing at this moment. All right, here we go. So as I'm speaking, you can move it from the right to the left. So on behalf of the faculty, staff, and the Board of Trustees of the Overlake School, I present to you the class of 2021. Woo! Yeet. Right. All right. These students have completed all of the requirements as of Friday, June 11th, and are now graduates of the Overlake School. Congratulations. Here we go. So as Mark starts to play, you are dismissed. And I would say make a beeline for the tents that are next to this tent where we all started earlier today. Being outside in that rain would not be so enjoyable, even with those great caps and gowns. All right. Congrats. Enjoy. Thank you, everybody.